Welcome back to the REI Hot Seat. I've got Jake back with me this week after not being here last week. So Jake, welcome back.
Thanks,
no more slacking on the job here. All right. Today we're going to be going over a deal right outside of Kingston, Ontario. So a larger building, I think 24 units between two buildings.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not going to give the exact address of this one, but we're going to give the details, our honest take of it. What I've done is I've gone ahead and compiled the information basics for the cash flow so we can just talk about them because there's obviously a lot to look at with the rent roll and such.
Yeah.
And let's go from there. So Jake, high level, let's just talk about what this building is.
Yeah. So what we have today, so very typical brick and concrete, flat roof, two buildings right next to each other, right? Okay. So we're looking at this as like a mini portfolio.
So purpose built.
Purpose built.
Yeah.
So the buildings themselves, good layout. We have 18 two bedrooms, 6 one bedrooms.
That's a good mix.
Yeah, so great mix. The current owners went in and they did a lot of the CapEx, which is pretty exciting. So they went into these places. So I know I can confirm the roofs are both new. So brand new roofs. They did new windows across both buildings.
So what would you say it needs if it were, if someone were to buy it and they wanted to like...
In regards to CapEx or just general renovation?
General renovation, CapEx. Like I guess CapEx, so roof is good.
I think CapEx, you're done.
Yeah, right? there are no central boilers on
No,
this,
no
right?
central boilers, electric heat.
Electric heat. So that's one, area for improvement, we'll call it.
Yeah. Right. Both buildings, common hallways were done.
In what regard?
New flooring.
New flooring.
Like freshened up, right?
Okay.
Laundry rooms are both, again, new flooring, freshened up.
Okay, so there's laundry income here.
Yeah, there's laundry income. Yeah, and there's ample parking too. So we got 24 units, 24 parking spots.
Okay.
Right. So that's nice to see. So I would say for someone coming in, like I bought this, if I was to buy this building, what would I do here? I think you're very safe with all of the kind of mechanical systems, the windows, all of that. Really, the main focus right now should be on cosmetic unit renovation.
So the units still need renos?
That's correct.
Have any of them been renovated?
So we have 10 renovated, 2 vacant.
So if I look at the rent roll, and I have the rent roll on my screen right now, if I look at the rent roll, there's some that are very identifiably much higher rent than the others. Correct. Am I going to assume those are the renovated units? Okay. So anyone looking here, you can see the different units that are kind of coming in higher than the 600s, and then the rest are all 600. Yeah. So obviously there's a bit of work to be done here in terms of rent and turnover. I pulled off of rentals.ca, I pulled off market rent for like an average 1 bed and an average 2 bed in Kingston. Now granted, this is outside of Kingston, but still it would have an impact. So I put those market rents here. So $1,703 for a 1 bed, $2,123 for a 2 bed. And that's as of this month, December 2022.
It's fantastic.
So looks like there's some area for improvement. That's the kind of thing they get excited about. Of course, we're going to have to see how the numbers work out here because I think, some people are afraid to take on a BRRRR right now. But when there's this much area to improve, even though we know cap rates are up, for anybody who watched my last week's episode, we know cap rates are up, but rentals rates coming up can potentially offset some of the damage done by those higher cap rates.
Not to mention, right, this isn't a set in stone thing, but I know the bond rates are down.
Yeah, last time I checked, they were at roughly...
fix is also coming down, right?
Yeah, last time I checked, the bond rates were sort of where they were back in September. Now, although with the new announcement last week about interest rates coming up, they did promise for more quantitative tightening, which would mean that they're going to flood more bonds into the market to drive the yields up. So we'll see.
I'm an optimistic person when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, tough to say. I mean, there is going to be pressure on the banks because as they keep doing this, if they don't push back on the central bank, power of sales, defaults, things like that, they're going to start becoming more commonplace. So there's a lot of politics and bureaucracy to it. We'll see. None of us have a crystal ball. There's opposing factors. We've been down that road and we'll certainly talk about it again. Okay, so let's look at some of the expenses. So right now, $26,600 showing as our monthly rental rate, and that's based on the sum total of current rents. Now, if we look at some of our expenses, I just have a 1% vacancy in there. There's some laundry income here, right?
There is. So each building has a washer dryer, coin operated. Mm-hmm. So we have tracked as best we can about $4,800 a year.
$4,800? Okay.
And then we have parking income as well.
Parking income. Okay. Yeah. So what's the parking income? We'll add that on.
So we're charging $50 per spot. Per month.
So 50 times 24. So all 24 tenants, or is that just the new ones?
Just a few.
Just the new ones probably coming in as you do it.
Exactly. Or if they needed 2 parking spots, right, we can give them an extra.
Okay. So, and I think you were saying there's 10 turned over. So let's assume 10 are paying 50.
Not quite. We're about $3,000 a year.
$3,000 a year.
Parking. Yeah.
Let's just do 3,000. Okay, but there is room as you get new tenants in to charge them for parking as well. Okay.
Again, we're not downtown Toronto here. You need a car if you live in this town.
Yeah. So taxes, I've taken off of the expense sheet. We've got $34,900 in taxes between the two buildings. Insurance is at $13,300. I haven't looked at the policy. I don't know what it includes, but I'm assuming it's a reasonable policy. Maintenance, I've got a 4% allowance in here for maintenance. You've got the major items done, but of course, renovating the units, I mean, you could argue if you want to include that here, or if you want to look at that as a further investment.
Yeah, we're kind of running maintenance just for your sake, Andrew. Yeah, because some of the larger items are done. Maintenance for the purpose of this pro forma was more so common area cleaning, right? Keeping everything up to spec. Like we're doing, a little bit of landscaping. Okay. There's not much grass at these properties. It's mostly just parking lot.
Yeah. And I usually separate them, right? My maintenance number usually includes like a life cycle maintenance. Like eventually you are going to need to do that roof again, even if it's not for 20 years, 30 years. So just building in a number for that. So we can play with that number. Different people are going to put it together different ways.
Well, that's it, right? And we didn't have a specific contract for this. So we kind of went ballpark, right? Okay. What are we looking at holistically across the board?
I just took my own maintenance number and I didn't take it off of yours. But with that said, so limited grass, like is it just a small patch of grass?
Yeah,
like what do you think?
Just a small patch of grass.
What do you think they realistically are paying like for snow removal and grass? Because parking lot's got to be cleared too, right?
Yeah. Well, so for
like
grass,
maybe 22,000 or something.
Grass. I think one of the tenants is cutting the grass, to the best of my knowledge.
So maybe say 2,000 a year for everything, the snow removal and landscaping, 2,500 maybe. And then miscellaneous, I like to include $500 for just whatever.
Yeah, smoke alarm batteries.
Yeah, you never know. So I got the electric in here. I mean, it's only $6,100, and you might say, hey, that's really low for a place with electric baseboard heating. Of course, they're separately metered, so all the tenants are paying electric heating, which might be why when you look at the rent roll here, you're seeing that even the new rents are a little bit lower than market. Maybe it's because of the electric heat. So area for improvement, if somebody goes in and starts adding in heat pumps, where now you've got really high efficiency heat.
I think heat pumps are, it's not just like from my experience, yes, tenants having to pay more utilities.
It does have an effect.
It makes it a little bit more difficult to lease.
Yeah.
But I haven't, and again, this is my personal opinion, across the things I've seen and the buildings I've analyzed, I've never really seen a direct correlation to a tenant coming in going, oh, electric baseboard heat, well, I'm taking $50 off the price.
No, I don't think they think like that. My experience has been similar, is that people don't really think about utility values.
No. You might have higher
You could say utilities included, but that doesn't mean you're going to get an extra $300 a month.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You're better off, I feel as a landlord, utilities on the tenant, because they don't think about it. Well, or you can advertise the rent at one price and say plus utilities, and then when they go to sign the lease, you say, by the way, we do a flat fee for gas, we do a flat fee for water. I don't think they balk at that kind of thing.
No, the flat fee thing's honestly fantastic.
They like that.
I recommend that to everybody. The flat fee, and if anybody argues that, you say, hey, if
you've rented before, you know what it is.
You know, hydro is going to be more than $75 a month.
Then they stop saying
anything. Then they kind of just go quiet and say,
the whole water thing. Like I signed a tenant up for it was like $50 a month for water, and they knew they were getting a deal. I'm like, let's face it, like the flat fee on the account is $50.
Yeah,
so you're getting a great deal here. Yeah. And then of course, realistically, it should have been much higher than that. So I think
there's a fine line there. Yeah, but no, what I wanted to say was, there's no direct correlation to lesser rent for baseboard electric heat, but perhaps higher turnover, perhaps maybe
I think higher turnover is going to be a big thing. Yeah. You're just going to have people get in there like, this is costing us too much. Let's look for another place.
They don't think about when they move in, and when their year comes up, they go, wow, that was too much
a lot of money. Right? Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think mini split systems are fantastic. It adds a couple different layers. It gives you air conditioning, first off.
Yeah.
Right. On-demand air conditioning.
Yeah.
On-demand heat. And the tenant has control over that. Right, they want to crank the heat up and open the windows all winter. Go for it, man. Like it's right. And some tenants like that. Some tenants go, "Hey, I love the idea that I can control my own AC. I control my own heat."
Yeah, it's
like a forced air system in a house, right? Like it's very.
So people are kind of. I would think it's
desirable.
People are starting to get away from central boilers, especially on big multis.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that individualized control, and then of course the landlord's got to pay for it.
Well, many times I've gone into a multi where you walk through the hallways and it's boiling, right, in the middle of winter, and they got the windows open.
Yeah, exactly. You're wasting. Yeah.
You're like, what's?
Although they are pretty efficient. But it is still wasteful.
It's still, you're like, come on, you just turn the boiler down a little bit.
Yeah.
Then the guy upstairs starts complaining because he's cold.
Right. So in this case, you're still going to have hallway heaters, which obviously that's where some of the $6,000 cost is, because that's just lights and hallway heaters.
Lighting, the dryer and washer.
Yeah.
Right. So
dryer and washer. Yeah. There's an expense.
Yeah.
But of course,
electric hot water tanks.
The income's almost, paying for that. Okay, so the landlord's paying for the hot water there. That's another thing where there's probably a way to do a little bit of a reno and make that tenant responsibility.
Sure.
Do you think? Now, on these buildings, you've seen the units. Is there potentially room to put in suite laundry?
I would say so, yeah. They're kind of a traditional apartment. They're quite large, larger than anybody's building these days, right? Like
so
the 2 bedrooms are very healthy.
So minor renovations, you could do in-suite laundry. Another potential way to maybe get up to that market rent or even beyond it. Because this is just average market rent in Kingston. Now, of course, we're outside of Kingston. But hypothetically, you make a better unit with better features, it should command more.
So with this, though, we got to sit back and look at it and say, okay, your average rent here right now is $600.
It's insane.
Right?
That's absolutely
so $600
insane. So looking at this rent roll right now, yeah.
So, and what are the cosmetic renos needed, right? Okay, so new flooring, paint.
New flooring and paint.
Kitchens?
Do kitchens need to be?
Let's say...
So you're looking at 20 grand a unit.
25 grand a unit. Yeah. So 25 grand a unit, and you're going from 600 to 1600, 1650.
So hypothetically still, so we need 25,000, and how many more units need that? So 14 more units need it.
And I would say 25 is on the higher end.
Yeah, on the high end, the conservative end. So potentially $350,000 to be spent on renos to get it up to that primo market rent. Yeah. And of course, we've had, anyone who's followed my podcast, we've had multiple guests come on and talk about how they use the N13, which is the construction notice, to get tenants out. Yep. And then when they leave or as they're leaving and packing up, offering them
the N11, really.
The N11 so they give you notice that they're leaving, and you do an exchange, you pay them something. Hey, you're already moved out. Wouldn't you like to just go get settled somewhere?
Yeah, and where I was going with that, just take a step back, was, okay, so I'd love to do the formula, and we don't have to do it right now, but let's do the formula based on, okay, so we add the in-suite laundry, how much is that going to cost us?
Yeah.
Right, and then how much more is that going to make us?
I think that almost always pays for itself. Okay. Almost always.
And I'd like to see that, right? And that's kind of what I was getting to, because I was saying, you're going to make $1,000 lift off of a kitchen and a floor reno, with no in-suite laundry.
Yeah.
So with the in-suite laundry, maybe another $50, $75, what,
I could tell you, like, my own personal in the past renting, like, there was not a chance that I would even consider something that didn't have laundry in it. Like, I'm not renting it if it doesn't have laundry in suite. Yeah.
And that's where I think in-suite laundry plays a big role. I don't know the exact numbers to, okay, in-suite laundry equals $25 or $50, but what it does equal is
it's more demand. I think it's more demand, right? Everything, market price is always where your demand and supply intersect. And if you've skewed your demand upward and outward, now all of a sudden the strike price is higher. Yeah.
I think it's tenant quality.
Yeah, exactly. Quality. You're going to bring in more leads. Now, instead of getting 10 leads, now you get 50, because people who want in-suite laundry are going to be more professional, higher standards. They're going to tend to treat things better. I think that's just my take. I don't know. It's not a rule. It's not going to be always.
No, for sure. Yeah. And I know I've rented in the past where I've had both in-suite laundry as well as public, laundry in the basement, right?
Yeah.
And it's having in-suite laundry is just, I would pay more personally, because
I would and always have and always will if I'm renting.
So I see what you're getting to at that.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the purchase price that they're asking?
4.599. So
4599000. Okay, so they are asking a current cap of 4.48 based on what I see here.
Yep.
Now, obviously, I think they see what we see is there's a whole lot of upward potential on this.
And that's it, right?
Yeah.
So when pricing this out, they're looking at, okay, based on, let's say on complete, we're going to be at a 5 cap conservatively in this market right now. I think an on-complete 5 cap is safe.
Okay. That's where you're seeing stuff, renovated products building, trading at a 5. Yeah. Okay.
So, let's run the numbers and assume, all those 600s are now 1600s.
Yeah.
And, we apply that to a 5 cap. It's definitely, you're paying a premium for the fact that this is extremely under-rented.
Well, and I'm just going to duplicate this tab, and now we're going to do a market rent assessment. So what if we were to turn all of these into a market rent? If we did the full reno. So let's say hypothetically we did, well, actually even before that. So we'll just work it out. Like if you did nothing, which obviously wouldn't be the play here, to just come in and do nothing. Like if you came in, 75% first mortgage, 5.5%, that doesn't cash flow. No. Not at that rate. So you could look at a CMHC MLI Select over time and do the improvements.
Look, if you want to go 50% down,
you
want to go buy a solid building where all the CapEx has been done, great.
Well, at 50% down, it cash flows.
Yeah. Right? No, but I, and that's sure, that is a buyer profile. I'm not saying nobody would do that, because I've done that in the past.
Because there definitely are buyers that do
that all day long, especially in markets like
But
Toronto,
if you want high leverage, you're going to have to do something.
Just the way this is tailored, meaning, okay, all those CapEx items are done. By CapEx, we mean roof, windows, boiler, if there was one. All those main items that aren't going to directly affect your rent are done. So all the expensive things are done. Now you just need to come in and work your magic and get it to a cosmetic place, and we're laughing. That's the deal here.
Okay, so I've just done a real simple, took the market rent off of the, based on the unit breakdown of 1 beds versus 2 beds in Kingston. Obviously, we're outside of Kingston, but that's an average, so we could actually outperform it. But let's just say we got the whole building to that new market rent. The expenses, a lot of updates. So obviously maintenance and management, those have gone up as a percentage of the gross rent.
Yeah. And then if you want to be really conservative, you can go like an inflation of 3% across the taxes. And,
you could. Yeah. You could. Okay. I'm not going to do that right now. But so let's just assume that to do that, you spent the $350,000. So we're just going to take the full purchase price and we're going to add on $350,000. Sure. So now that changes your acquisition cost, but let's go and so we'll see, would it work at a 75%, 25 year? So this is your typical commercial mortgage I'm not going to guarantee you can get this interest rate. I'm just, throwing something out there at 5.5. But if you do that at market rent, this shows 14,000 cash flow. So if you were to able to get it all up to what rentals.ca says is your standard market rent, your average market rent for a 1-bed and a 2-bed, that's wild. 14,000. Now, of course, what's more likely is you land somewhere in the middle.
14,000 a month, a year?
A month.
A month, okay.
14,000 a month, and that's assuming even the ones that are already at 1,600, you're boosting those up to their actual market, which would be 2,100. Is that realistic? No, probably in this specific case here for like Unit 5, not really going to happen.
10 a month.
Yeah, so say you landed somewhere, say you don't make the full 48, say maybe you only make it 42,000 on the gross rent. Play a little sensitivity here. Do you still cash flow? Yeah, that's 8,300 a month in cash flow.
Yeah.
So if you landed somewhere in the middle, that seems actually pretty awesome. What assumptions are we making? We're assuming that you're going to get the appraisal at 4.9. We are assuming you have the, 1,200,000 to come in.
Yep.
And, when there is cash flow on the table, there's ways to attract investors to maybe even work with you if you want to do it as a JV, something like that. Like those are attractive numbers, in my opinion. Again, not advice, my opinion.
No, and it's same, Andrew. Like I think they're extremely attractive numbers. That's, to me, I'm sitting here going, why haven't I bought it yet?
Yeah.
But I think it boils down to that, right? Is you have to have a good active partner, or you have to be active, because this is not a sit back and collect a paycheck kind of building. Right, this is you got to drive this forward. You got to keep pushing this forward. And there's many groups.
There's some
out
work
there.
to be done here.
There's many groups out there that are amazing at that.
So this is Jake's listing. By the way, I didn't say that before. Something to consider. So if people wanted more information on this, can they reach out to you on this?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
So go to the link below.
Yeah.
Put in your information. Right, I'll get a message and I'll reach out to you directly. So it basically comes right into my phone, and I give you guys a call. If you're looking for more information or more detailed information from what we discussed today, I have a full data room. Right, so all the bills, the taxes, so everything we went over today is quantified in a data room.
Right, because when you list a property, you go deep on it because you obviously rep a lot of buyers. You know what people are looking for.
Well, we don't list anything unless we verify the numbers ourselves.
Yeah.
Right, so I got to make sure, hey, I need 12 months hydro, 12 months gas, 12 months water. Right. So now we can start punching that
so
into
you
our
actually know what it is.
So I go through and I underwrite it, and then I actually bring it to a mortgage broker, and they'll look at it even before we go to market, and I'll say, hey, what's the mortgage on this? Like, how are we structuring this deal?
See, this is what a realtor who's diligent will do, in my opinion. Like, you'll figure out the strategy, like, how can this deal be done, right? It's all about, okay, in what scenario can this deal work? Yeah. And how does it need to be done in your estimation to make it work in today's market?
5, 10, 15 different ways to cut the cake here.
Right. And there's a lot of variables too, right? We don't know where values will be in a couple of years. Like there's a lot of variables here. But I mean, if you even look at the potential to go with a CMHC mortgage and extend that amortization out and get the interest rate even better, you could legit see, I think, based on what we see here, I think you could see legit 10,000 plus cash flow, 12,000 plus cash flow. That's not bad.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you know what? And it fits and it checks my boxes, right? I love those purpose built, right? Clean, the old Italian guy. Sweeps the hallway, waters the driveway.
That's your shtick, the old Italian guy.
Yeah, hey, but you know what? Because it doesn't have to be old Italian guy, but just someone that's taking care of the building. It's not been a slumlord, right? Like,
right. Somebody who took care of the building.
Yeah, they've been there themselves taking care of it. Yeah. That is because you know what? Those buildings always run so smooth. The systems are in place. They're clean. They're nice. You can take them over and you can make them just that much better. So,
yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, Jake, this is a cool one. I actually, I like this one. This seems like it's got a lot of potential. It definitely work, but I appreciate you sharing this one. Thanks for coming on. Everyone who's watching, you made it this far. Support us. We're still new. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I kind of almost forgot what it's like to kind of start from scratch. Now not truly starting from scratch with a new content channel, but we're trucking away here, and we appreciate all your input. Yeah.
And any comments, we'll either Andrew or I will answer everything that gets posted there. So
yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.